going for him is we can show you their resumes, and I think people will be shocked at how close. So regular season wins, he's 32 behind. That's done in less than 3 years. Playoff wins, he's 26 behind. I think that's done in the next 2 or 3 years, but it's going to get done. Total wins, that's done in the next 3 or 4 years. Playoff appearances, already passed him. Conference championship game appearances, he'll be 1 behind here in about 4 weeks. Super Bowl appearances and Super Bowl wins, we'll see, but then there is this piece of it, which is the three-peat chances, which is an unprecedented thing. Shula would have an unprecedented thing, nice. Undefeated season. Andy would have an unprecedented thing, three-peat, and Belichick would have
the most.
The most, but for now, and we'll see. The other piece of it is there is no, and we can go to the next graphic, blemish for Andy. If these two guys both coached a bunch of games without the two greatest quarterbacks any of us have ever seen. Andy won 60% of those games. Bill won 45% of those games. Andy had 3 losing seasons. Bill had 8 losing seasons.
Don McNabb and Mike.
There you have it. 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 Look at Andy Reid's record without Patrick Mahomes. Looks pretty darn good. A 600% win percentage, 0.601, 60%, 60%. 600% would be pretty well. 60% win percentage. Only 3 losing seasons. 11 playoff wins. 13 playoff appearances. 5 conference game championship appearances. 1 Super Bowl appearance. And no wins. Because he lost to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Pretty tough to do. That is pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. It really just goes to show you how great Andy Reid is of a coach. And that it's not Patrick Mahomes that's just making Andy Reid relevant and all of this. I cut it off because Wilds was about to say, Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb. Let's be very clear about that. He got Michael Vick after he came out of being away for a while. When he was at the end of his career, he saved Michael Vick. Let's be very, very, very clear about that. And let's not have revisionist history also about McNabb. McNabb was this raw ball of clay that Andy Reid sculpted and was able to do a lot. And let's not act like McNabb now was this all-time great quarterback. He's not even a Hall of Fame candidate. So I mean, technically he's probably considered, but like he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. Is my point. So let's keep things in perspective there. I mean, we're going to have now revisionist history and act like McNabb was just the greatest quarterback in the history of the world. That's what they want to do to be able to downplay Andy Reid. And again, even when he had McNabb, and again, McNabb was no scrub. I'm not saying that McNabb was some scrub. But he wasn't Peyton Manning. That's what people want to try to pretend. Oh, he was like Peyton Manning. Okay, sure. Not to mention, during his run with the Philadelphia Eagles, the dude had like no wide receivers. Like none. He had T.O. for 1 season with McNabb. And they went to the Super Bowl. And the following year, it kind of fell apart. And again, when he had Jackson and stuff like that, again, this all has to be put in perspective. These teams were, the Philadelphia Eagles, those teams, they no longer were what they were. They are doing weird stuff with quarterbacks now. Again, getting a quarterback who was locked up, trying to move on from McNabb, who was now, fell off his cliff. It's like, it's not like he had a prime quarterback with Patrick Mahomes and a prime wide receiver at the perfect time. Like so much of football is timing. So much is timing. And Andy Reid did not have great timing in Philadelphia. And yet, this is what he was able to do. That's wildly impressive. And it is so funny. That's why Nick Wright is the perfect messenger for this. It's so funny how when he wants to say that Andy Reid is better than Bill Belichick, which I agree with, by the way, he maps all this out and wants to say, look at all the things that he did without Patrick Mahomes. All great stuff. All great stuff. But when it's time to elevate Patrick Mahomes and to downgrade these other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, you hear the whispers of Andy Reid. You hear the whispers. No benefit of the Andy Reid. No, this greatness that Andy Reid was able to do. All of a sudden, Andy Reid couldn't get the job done. He couldn't win the big game. Bro, look at his roster. Look who his quarterback was. His quarterback got sick in the Super Bowl because of the pressure of it all. That's where that whole beef came from. T.O. all angry at McNabb and whatnot. Look at the other wide receivers and the weapons they had. Well, he had good running backs. He made them good. He's the one that did that. He was the one that was all about that. He redefined how NFL teams play offense. That's Andy Reid's doing, man. Without Andy Reid's years in Philadelphia, there are no Patrick Mahomes years with Kansas City Chiefs. You could make the argument if it wasn't for Andy Reid, we would still be living in a defensive era in the NFL. No doubt about it. Andy Reid has been the offensive head coach for years and years and years. That's why when you think about all these big offensive head coaches in the NFL right now, they're all so young. It's Shanahan, McVay, Kevin O'Connell. Whereas the defensive head coaches, and they're starting to be extinct now, they're all really old. Like Bill Belichick. Andy Reid is the one long-standing offensive head coach. And he did this in a defensive era. That is remarkable. Remarkable. Not to mention Andy Reid, a bunch of those wins, a bunch of those successes are with backup quarterbacks that no one has ever heard of or will know unless you are a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So not even all of that is with McNabb. McNabb got injured. And again, a bunch of this is also with McNabb going downhill. Bill Belichick never had to coach with Tom Brady going downhill. Pretty funny stuff. This is perfect. It says happy holidays. I don't know why they're doing this I know it's December, but aren't we a little early? You would think it was December 20th right now. Pretty fascinating stuff. This brought a smile to my face. I do got to say, this definitely brought a smile to my face.
Said for much longer. I think that
you need three Super Bowls.
So
you need 6 rings, and head-to-head, Andy Reid lost in a Super Bowl.
I know that is how you're looking at it, that period, point blank. I don't think that it is going to be a universally held opinion because Andy has a resume that says I couldn't only have any level of success with the greatest player ever. And Bill doesn't have that. That's why this last stop was going to be important for him, and we all talked about it.
I think right now there's a nice gap between him and Andy Reid. I don't think very many people are thinking Andy Reid is right there with Belichick right now.
I agree with that.
And it's argued, does he need 6? If he gets 5 and a three-peat, then it becomes a real argument. But I'm with you. Yeah. Most people are just going to care about the Super Bowls. That's what's going to define it. And as far as his legacy, honestly, look, maybe you think I'm crazy. I don't really think Belichick cares that much about his legacy.
He seemed to care about that wins record a lot.
Did he? Yeah. How do we know that? We talked a lot about it.
There was a lot of
his
reporting about that.
All right, well, now they're just kind of going off on legacy. It's funny because I agree with what Nick is saying here, but it's just so funny because again, it's when he's saying it and how he's saying it is just kind of interesting to me. But Yeah, the head-to-head, Tom Brady versus Donovan McNabb. That's my point. My point is not to say that a quarterback like Donovan McNabb is this trash quarterback, but it's not Tom Brady. Okay, it's not Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Like it's just not. It's not a true, legitimate, top like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Whether they win a Super Bowl or not, they will be regarded as all-time greats. They will. People want to try to pretend that some of these other quarterbacks in the past, are those versions of them, and it's just not accurate. It's just not. So yeah, it's having Tom Brady versus Donovan McNabb in the Super Bowl. It's a major leg up to have the Tom Brady. Not to mention, this is also during, again, the defensive era. So it was a different era entirely. So the defensive head coach is also going to kind of have the benefit. And I think the fact that Donovan McNabb, that Andy Reid has been able to do it with so many different quarterbacks, that goes a long way, a very, very long way. I mean, Andy Reid has won with every single quarterback. Every single quarterback. He won with A.J. Feely with the Philadelphia Eagles. Coy Detmer. I mean, and any of these other quarterbacks that people want to say, oh, they're pretty good. Right. Some of them are not trash. But they played their best seasons and had their best statistics with Andy Reid. Okay? They had a higher passer rating, 89.4. All others, 83.2. Better touchdown to interception ratio, 2.2. With all others, 1.4. So this is those quarterbacks like Alex Smith, McNabb, Vic, even Brett Favre, I believe. It's those quarterbacks when they were with Andy versus when they were without Andy. All right? Passing yards per game, 234 to 215. I mean, it just keeps going. Completion percentage, 61.4, 60.4. I mean, they had their best years, their best seasons, their best statistics with Andy Reid. It's just not even up for debate. It's really, really not what Andy has been able to do. And that's why it's just really funny to see people still try to pretend like Andy Reid's not this all-time great coach, or that Patrick Mahomes has made Andy Reid. That is the most bizarre, insane take. That Patrick Mahomes has made Andy Reid. How many Super Bowls does he have? Because he's supposed to win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith. Sure. Okay. Whatever you say. He's supposed to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb going up against the best defensive head coach of all time in the heart of the defensive era of the NFL. Sure. Whatever you say. With a QB who's, getting sick in the huddle. Oh, it's so funny. It really is funny that people can't see the greatness of Andy Reid and what he does. And this is why people want to peg me as a Patrick Mahomes hater, because I'm just acknowledging that Andy Reid that Patrick Mahomes has significantly benefited from Andy Reid. That doesn't take away from the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, no matter who was his coach, was going to be a great quarterback, was going to be a top quarterback. But with Andy Reid, that has helped him become a true, without a shadow of a doubt, GOAT contender. Just like Tom Brady would have been great no matter where he went, Bill Belichick and the success, and because if we're talking about these rings, it's rings over rings over rings, Bill Belichick helped Tom Brady win a lot of rings, and has helped him understand defenses to the core. So Tom Brady would have found a way to be a top quarterback in the NFL no matter who he was, no matter who was his coach. But with Bill Belichick, he became the GOAT. So if Bill Belichick helped Tom Brady become the GOAT, it's not hard to admit that Andy Reid has helped Patrick Mahomes be in the GOAT conversation. Again, we can't call him the GOAT because obviously he still needs time, and he might very well become the GOAT, Patrick Mahomes. But these Patrick Mahomes fans are so obsessed with not giving any credit to anyone. People still want to say that Patrick Mahomes has carried the Kansas City. Yeah, he hasn't carried the Kansas City Chiefs. He carried the Kansas City Chiefs a few years. Because if people want to admit, oh, you know what, this has been a more defensive-led team. Because you have a few different categories. Some people are saying that Patrick Mahomes has been carrying the Kansas City Chiefs these last couple of years. And then some people want to say, no, it's the defense. And if they want to admit the defense, they say, fine, it was the defense. But he was the leader carrying the team in years before. And it's like, really? Having Tyreek Hill? Having Travis Kelce? Right? Like, really? Having Andy Reid, he's carrying that team? Really? Really? No. It's takes like these, which is why people want to consider me a Patrick Mahomes hater. And I'm really, truly, honestly not. I'm truly, truly not. Patrick Mahomes is one of my favorite players of all time. I absolutely love to watch him play. The NFL is significantly better and more entertaining because of him. I've rooted for him in multiple Super Bowls. Again, I was furious when the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes got rocked against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. I had to call my trash, sister-in-law, and I had to talk to her for like an hour. And I remember I went for a walk. I went outside, went to my street. I was like so irked and annoyed by that Super Bowl because first off, it was just a boring Super Bowl and a bad Super Bowl. But I wanted Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs to win it. I was so annoyed and so angry. So that's why it's always so funny that people want to flag me as a Mahomes hater because I just acknowledge the greatness of Andy Reid. Like what? Huh? It's absurd. It really, really is. And that's why, again, it's funny to see Nick Wright now praising Andy Reid, but doesn't ever really want to give any credit of Andy Reid's impact on Patrick Mahomes. And we know that because he doesn't ever give the benefit of the doubt to Josh Allen, to Justin Herbert, to Lamar Jackson, to, did I say Joe Burrow? I forget. To these other great quarterbacks. When they don't have an Andy Reid. It matters. It matters. And again, all those stats that I just showed you, we prove because people want to say, oh, the quarterback. It's all on the quarterback, not the coach. Then why, for all these quarterbacks, does Andy Reid, do their numbers improve? Do they play better? People tried to pretend that Andy Reid wasn't known as a quarterback whisperer, that he wasn't considered a great coach until Patrick Mahomes got there. And it's like, bro, you must be 22 years old. You must be 17. Because you got no idea what you're talking about. Could just look it up. There's been articles 12 years ago that were written about, Andy Reid being the quarterback whisperer. Come on, man. Why can't we just have honest discussions? Seriously, why can't we just have honest discussions? I want to know. I want to know. Why can't we have honest discussions about some of these things? Always makes me laugh. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Andy Reid's legacy over Bill Belichick and his impact on the successes of all these quarterbacks, of Mahomes, the Chiefs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.